On this episode of Purposely Curious, we sit down and answer some of your questions over some delicious cocktail drinks in our second Cocktail Q&A. We answer questions such as, when did you feel you were you in regards to being happy with who you were? And also, do you believe in true love? Join us as we get nicely buzzed and totally uncensored as this episode starts now. Hey, Leonie.
Greetings, Mary. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Just enjoying the summer heat, you know.
Yeah, I'm so over it.
You want the winter time, huh?
I do. Of course, I like summer, but I hate the whole like sweatiness of it. That end of it.
Right.
Obviously, but yeah. I know girls are like, oh, I can't wait to be in the sun and like tan. I'm all about that beach life. You know, yeah.
Right.
That ain't me, bitches. That ain't me.
Yeah, Mary's a goth queen.
Fuck yeah. Do you know, it's funny because I had an ex-boyfriend. He would tell me that I would look better with a tan. And I would get so annoyed because I'm like, ugh, rolling my eyes. Whatever GIFs or memes you guys can think of, that was me rolling my eyes. I was like, right. No. You either like me pale as fuck,
I like you,
or you don't.
Pale as fuck. I think seriously, that's a. I mean, I don't know how to best word it, to be honest with you, but I think it's such an endearing quality of yours. Because I think
being pale as fuck.
Yeah, it's no, but it's beautiful. Like, don't get me wrong. There's people who they're pale, and you're like damn, you know. But no, for you, it's like a perfect skin tone that matches like your quality of your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Your hair, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it works for you. I'm just like if I had my way, I would tell you, dude, don't go in the sun ever, you know? Just seriously. No, seriously, I think it works for you. I think it works great. Mm. So don't lose that.
Everyone's a fan.
Don't lose that edge, kid.
No. I'm amazing. I mean, let's be real. No, I'm just kidding.
Shit. Yeah, I know that already.
Yeah, I'm amazing because that's just the truth. I mean, my parents are badass. They made a badass daughter.
Yeah, they did.
My brother's just as badass. All my cousins are badass, and that's just a fact.
Nice.
We're a badass family. Just kidding.
That's funny.
Everyone who's listening is like, what is this girl on?
Yeah, right? That's funny.
Oh, that's funny. But on this episode, I wanted to answer a few questions randomly. This is unscripted. And so what do you say, Leonie?
I say, let's do it.
Let's do it. So the first question by Olaf, he says, what do you want your final words to be?
Oh, damn. That's a hard one. Yeah.
Take your time. But I'm going to think of mine right now. What do you want your final words to be? I feel like whatever I just said earlier would be my final words. I'm kidding.
I'm a badass goth queen.
I'm a badass. Pale skin. If you don't like it.
Yeah, right? That's funny.
But yeah, I'm curious to know if you could choose your final words, what would you want them to be?
You know, I think about notable people that I've respected that have passed on, that said some, not necessarily the final words, but close to their end of days. They said something interesting, you know, that sticks with you, you know, and apparently one of them was by Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, you know. Mm-hmm. He said something, it was a commencement speech at the Harvard graduating class, I believe, where he gave the speech that year. It was right before he died, where he said something. He read a long thing about his life and his failures and his successes, you know. But then at the end, he said, I'm going to quote from this catalog, you know, that he used to get when he was a kid. It was like one of those like Sears catalogs or something, you know. And at the back of the catalog, he'd always say, stay young, stay foolish. And he thought that those words meant something to him, like, you know, resonated with him his whole life, where it's just like, you know, basically telling you, hey, you know, enjoy life, you know, like, you know, be crazy, enjoy life, be crazy, do your own thing, you know. He did, you know, and he lived life to his fullest, and he's gone now. But you know, that's I don't know. That stuck with me. What would I say though? What would I say? I don't know. Maybe it'd be like simple advice, like, you know, something like, hey, you know, live, laugh, love, you know.
Oh my God, no. Those are those Karen, no, I'm just kidding. Karen
How
decor.
dare you? How dare you? I'm giving you like poetry over here. I'm like being sincere.
Is it poetry? I don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to hang up on you.
Oh my God, Leonie, I don't know what's gotten into me. I didn't mean to say that. Those are wonderful words.
No, they're not. Look, you're laughing over there. Damn. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, okay. Look, I'm at a loss for words.
I understand what you're saying. It's like live with no regrets type of thing. You know, live, be happy. I get it.
Yeah, and okay, I'll tell you this much. And the reason
I was throwing a cheap shot. Sorry.
No, and it's funny, and I respect that. That's fucking hilarious, you know. But no, it's something to do to that effect because, for example, like my dad, when I knew him in my life, like. He just didn't, you know, he lived life to his fullest in his younger years, but not his latter years, you know? And when he had chances to gamble and take a chance on some big things, he didn't. And to this day, I'm thinking, fuck, like, you know, why didn't you, you know, buy that property? Why didn't you move here? Why, you know? So I think he was too cautious at the end of his life. Mm-hmm. And I think that was a good reminder of how not to be. Yeah. Like you gotta, you know, that's why, look, many people may not know this about you, but you're a world traveler. You've been around different places around the world, and I've seen your photos, and I fucking admire that about you, you know? Yeah. Because I have not done that yet. I've not been able to do that yet, you know? But I admire that, you know, you're like, God damn, this girl's a free spirit. Like, you know, on her vacation, she went here. She went there. She went to Europe.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not a free spirit, though. I understand where you're going with that. I am not a free spirit. I'm better than a free spirit, and that's a fact. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus. You're terrible.
You're like, what's Mary on today? But yes, no, I am not a free spirit, so.
You know what I mean. Yeah. Like you're just one to say, hey, I want to go appreciate the beauty above Machu Picchu and some shit, you know, like that, and you actually did it. You actually go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
so the reason I say I'm not a free spirit is because I'm not, in the sense that I do everything that you just said, but I'm like scared in the process, and the whole leading up to it, I'm scared shitless. You know. But I'll do it.
But you know what? It's admirable because you took the leap of faith. You did it. I don't care how scared you were. You did it. And, you know, who knows? Now that we live in a world that's fucking changed forever, who knows if you'll be able to do this again? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. No, you know, I totally agree. So the fact that you did it and then you have photos and proof and all that shit, I love that. And I'm like, fuck, this is awesome, you know?
I wish I had done it younger. I can tell you that. That's one of my life regrets. Well, but I didn't feel...
Pros and cons. Let's say you did do it younger. Mm-hmm. And then the younger you would have been like, I just want to eat pizza and go to a rave, you know? Yeah. And then now older you is more, you know, in tune with like, no, I want to go see the ruins. I want to learn about... you know, the Colosseum. I want to learn about you know what I'm saying? It's like younger you would have failed in that trip. Yeah. But older you cannot appreciate it.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I agree with you. When I started traveling, I kind of had already figured out who I was, and you know, I had a great travel buddy, and I could afford it. I wasn't going into debt because I paid everything cash, y'all. Mm-hmm. So it was, it's nice. But I definitely commend people who do that willingly and take a risk and do it. But yeah, thank you, Leonie. That was nice of you.
No, it's the truth, yo. It's the truth.
Now, as far as me, what do I want my final words to be? I wouldn't say that per se that I have a certain phrase that I would say, but I've always been the type of person that's never cared what anyone thought of me except my parents and close family and close friends. I could care less what anybody else. And I've never been a follower. Maybe that's what it'd be. That would be, don't be a follower, just do you. Because I've had a lot of people in my life, in my entire life, try to tell me that I should do things a certain way, what I should do. And I never follow anybody's advice. I just do me. And that's just do you. I know it sounds cliche, right? Just do you.
Right.
But I've never been a follower. And I've prided myself in that, in the sense that I like to do the opposite of what everyone's doing. And so I'm definitely, I guess, don't be a follower, just do you. Just do what's right. Don't care about anyone except those that truly care about you, which is your family and close friends. Fuck the rest.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that those are would be my final words, but if I was on my deathbed and literally someone would tell me, if I was in my deathbed, this is exactly what I would tell you, is fuck the rest. And if someone is worried about what you're doing something right.
Hey.
Because they're trying to figure out what you're doing, and don't follow anybody. Just do you, be you.
Hey.
Stay pale in your pale skin.
There you go. Stay pale.
Stay pale in your pale skin.
Stay pale, cowboy. No, I think that's...
I'd be a cowgirl, though.
Better be. No, I think those are great words. Those are definitely good words. Good advice there. Good life advice.
Yeah. So the next one, you ready for it?
Yes.
This is from Ruben. In your opinion, are you living a meaningful life?
This week, no. Last week, yes. I'm kidding. I think so. I mean, I always have the idea of you could do more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I like the notion of service to others. And I think I dedicated my life, my adult life, to something sort of like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, at first it was going to be medicine, but then I veered off into a different direction, and it was science. And it's like, my whole thing is like, well, I want to, make a change. I want to help somebody, I want to help a group of people, some disease, something, and I think I have an opportunity to do so, so, I'm grateful for that. I think it's, something I'll always think about. No matter what I do in life, I'm always going to be grateful that I had the opportunity to do so. But I always have that idea in the back of my mind that it's like I could still do more, And I'm not the person with 1,000 ideas of like, save the planet, save the homeless, save the kids, feed the hungry. And it's just like, it's sad that we have all those problems here on Earth, but in my mind, I'm conscious of them, and I don't act on them. So I always have that notion, that idea of like, do more,
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? I mean,
Yeah. So, in my opinion, am I living a meaningful life? I would say yes. I picked a career where I'm dealing with people that are literally dying.
Yeah.
And so as far as my career, yes, there are bullshit that comes with jobs. I've talked to you about stuff.
Right.
But I know I'm making a difference in people's lives, that their families are going to remember me for the rest of their lifetime, saying she was here every week.
Definitely.
To make sure my loved one. So in that sense, I feel like I picked the right, I'm not working in advertising or like, I'm not saying those aren't a good thing, but I just feel like I'm touching people's hearts.
Right.
In the sense that I'm kind of like there to hold their hands while their loved one is going through their end of days.
Right.
Outside of my job, I've been very happy, like going back to the last question, I've always done what I wanted, don't follow.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I wish I didn't worry so much. I'm a worrier. So I would want to get rid of that. But then I also think that a lot of the things I worry about, I plan for stuff, and people always think like, because I'm telling you, if you look at my trunk, I don't, I don't know if we were, I don't know if you ever saw that post when I was talking about like earthquake disaster kits, and I had posted on my stories. So I worry, and that was before the earthquake we had a year ago.
Yes.
So I'm like a worrier in that sense. So sometimes people are like, you worry too much. But then when I look at like the shit that happens, I'm like, okay, so we just had a huge earthquake. And if we had no electricity, I know I have all these things said. So I don't know. I went on a little rant there. But yes, I'm happy with how I'm living things. And although I'm scared of certain things, I have been, how do I say it? There are go-getters that do it and don't get scared and just do it. I get scared and think of every possible worst case scenario, but I've gotten a lot of shit done in my life. So I'm successful. And so in that sense, I do feel I'm living a meaningful life.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I'll judge success by one thing, by one question. And my question to you is, are you happy? And, and if you just, you said, yeah, and if the answer is yes, then your life has been and is meaningful.
Yeah.
Because I don't care if you're the CEO, and I don't care if you have $50 million and live in an estate by the ocean and have a yacht and all that fun stuff in life. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Because I have friends who are super wealthy, and they're like some of the saddest people on earth. I'm sorry to say, because they, in a sense, sold their soul to some kind of devil along the way, where, they got this fame and fortune, or maybe just fortune, but, it did not, like, to them, they always thought that, hey, this is going to buy me my BMW, my car, women, whatever, men, and it didn't. It just isolated them more and more and more, because it's like, they wanted all this, they got all this, but it didn't make them happy, Like, they're still bachelors, they're still single people,
Yeah. Hey, I'm single.
No, but in the sense where they're not
but
happy.
I'm happy.
See, that's the difference. No. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you and I mean, you know my life tragedies, and
mine.
Yeah. And, I've spoken about some of them publicly, and some I have not and will not. But it's like, I'm happy because I was able to overcome that and still live life to the fullest as much as I could by doing things that I love, by following passions, photography, hiking, painting, podcasting, or, all these things, my interests, I do them because I want to, not because somebody told me, not because it's like I discovered them on my own and realized this changed my way of thinking, or this relaxes me, or this gives me, hope or relaxation, or, peace of mind, whatever, So I always say that, I always go to happy. If you're happy, dude, you're doing way better in life than anyone. I don't care. I don't care where you are, where you live, how much you make. Happiness. That's the key.
That's the key. And obviously, like you said, life has thrown curveballs at us. And I've had times where I've been sad and depressed, where, whether it was a post breakup or losing my dog, or, but the point is that you overcome that, you move forward, and, you try your hardest to be, I guess, move forward for your sake. And yeah, I'm happy alone. But it's because I have you, my family, my friends, and that's good enough for me.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that I'm a part of your life, because I think you're incredible. I think you have so much, you have so much to offer. I enjoy these conversations, whether some of them are public like here or some of them are not, I think you're amazing. And you always, you never cease to amaze me or bring a smile to my face. I'm grateful. I'm super grateful just to know you. I'm just like, man, I'm lucky. I'm fucking just when you think that, nothing good could come at whatever age, it's like all of a sudden it's like, hey, this girl's amazing and she's in my life,
Yeah. Oh, thank you. It's funny that you bring that up, because there was a joke between me and my girlfriends about One of my girlfriends was at therapy and she was just saying like, she had asked like, do you ever think you come out in anyone's therapy session?
In mine.
And I, being the start, you've heard the jokes. I joke a lot.
Yeah.
And so one of the things was like, oh, for sure. But definitely if I come out in people's therapy sessions, it's always a positive thing.
Yeah.
Like they're like, why can't you be like Mary, damn it? Like, I'm just kidding.
Right.
But funny. That's just me being funny.
It's funny though. It's true.
Yeah. So the next question, this is by Kyle. When did you feel the most you?
Oh, damn. That's a tough one. I'm trying to figure out a time in my life that.
Could it be like a time in your life where we felt, okay, this is who I am. I'm good. Like most comfortable, I guess, in ourselves. The most you. Because we're always us, right?
Yeah, but sometimes not. Sometimes when you're younger, you're putting on a facade, You're like, look at me, I'm true. Fucking rico suave, or like.
Oh my God, rico suave. I remember that song. Lord. Gotta look that up.
You're like, look at me. Okay, here's a better one. I'm big pimping. It's like who says that shit? But people did, and they do, and and they're putting on a fake personality that they're not, And I guess that it's something I never did. I think I just had to grow up fast when I was younger, so I didn't have time nor the bad influences to tell me that, hey, you got to be fucking cool. You got to dress like this. I just did my own thing, and whether it was cool or not, I don't care. I'm just, it just led to having a diverse set of friends from every aspect of my life that I enjoy,
Yeah.
But I would probably say that probably would be somewhere in my maybe late 20s, maybe. Like at 20, yeah. I think at 28, maybe 29, around there, where I was just kind of like, no, this is who I am. Like I've accepted it, It's like there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to change for anybody. And it probably, it probably was for sure 28, 29, because it was after a bad breakup relationship, And I think that kind of led to, hey, she's fucking crazy as fuck, and she's, she did something awful to me, but I will never stoop down to that level. I will never be that person. I will never seek revenge. I'm just gonna, put this behind me and just move on, Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, it hurt, because breakups always hurt, right? Breakups are not easy, and it hurt. It hurt for a long time, but I got over it, and I got over it by just being cordial. I guess it's a good word to use,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I think for me, I always felt I was me, because remember going back to the whole, I never followed anything.
Right.
I kind of just did my thing, but that's not to say that I didn't have insecurities, because I did.
Right.
You guys who follow me, who might have seen my picture on Instagram, I'm thin and petite. I'm 5'2", weigh about 103. I have skin bone, like skinny, not skinny, like really small, like bones. I'm small boned. Mm-hmm. Is that even a word? I don't know. So growing up, I had insecurities growing up, because in high school, I was like, if you think I'm thin right now, in high school, I was like super fucking thin. And that's, even though I was always very confident, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Always very, very confident, and I was part of the popular crowd, but I felt too skinny. And so that was my insecurity.
It's so weird that, you have that insecurity, because like, it's not till you get to college or later in life where there's women like telling you, man, I wish I could have your problems, because everybody deals with weight problems later in life, right?
Yeah. And even myself, like it's, but that was my insecurity then. So even though I knew and I was very comfortable, because my dad and my mom raised a very, they raised us to be very like confident, me and my brother.
Yeah.
Being Hispanic, all these girls in high school were like voluptuous and gorgeous and beautiful.
Right.
And they still are. But, boys weren't looking at me. But I was confident in every other aspect of life. So I think I've always felt like me in the sense that I was confident, not a follower, but in the sense of my insecurity with myself and my body,
Right.
I didn't feel 100%, I guess, comfortable until until like I was 25, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like I had one girl come up to me one day and be like, like she had said that I had like, cause my boobs are kind of like small, like petite size to go with my body.
Right.
She's like, you never wanted, I'm going to make a horrible impression of her. She was in nursing school. So like, you never wanted like a boob job? And I was like, no. And she's like, I mean, why? That's literally her question to me.
Right.
And I was like, because I don't have a problem pulling guys, to be honest. I mean, you might, but not me.
Yeah. Well.
So I was like that savvy girl who would say stupid shit like that. Like, if you're going to come at me, I'm
Yeah.
coming at you.
That's funny.
But when I was younger, I've never had an issue with my breast size. Never once. And if someone has told me I should get a boob job, I've always been like, ugh, asshole, like, whatever. But my thing was always my legs. I always felt like I had chicken wings.
Interesting.
But now I'm happy with them. I love them. But growing up until I was about 25, I wouldn't really wear skirts or anything. That was, I guess what I'm getting at, that was my insecurity. So when I hit 25, 26, I was starting to get more comfortable with my body in the sense of my legs.
And you look great. I mean, it's like,
thank you.
I'm a guy. I notice those things. We're always on the lookout, right? But yeah, I think your breasts are perfectly proportional for your height, weight, and size.
Yeah.
No, I'm seriously, look, they are. And I'm not making a dirty joke out of this or anything. I'm being serious. I think, I think you're great. I'm saying? I think it's a perfect fit, and I think your legs are incredible. So it's one of those things where it's just like, your body just filled in. It took a while, but it filled in to where you finally felt like, oh wow, look, I look like a normal girl now. A woman. And I would not change a thing about you.
Yeah. So growing up, those were my insecurities, only because all my other girlfriends were beautiful in my eyes. You know what I mean?
That's
gorgeous.
The thing. That's the thing.
And I was like scrawny, you know what I mean? Chicken legs and.
That's just it though. There's a group of guys looking for those kind of girls. Oh, look at her boobs and this. But then there's a whole different set of guys that are looking at girls like you, who are like, that girl, it's like.
Hey guys, I don't have anything in the front and I don't have anything in the back.
I disagree. I think you're perfect.
But I'm totally cool with it now. Because I'm badass. Like I know I have that effect on people because I'm myself. You know what I mean? In the sense that we can be friends, we could be cool, like, and I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I'm very happy that the people who if that ever has been an issue with people, they're not in my life now. So I'm happy in that sense.
Good for you.
Yeah. So another question, which is basically, if you could have one answer on any topic, whether it's history or life, what would, let's see if I'm reading this right. If you could have one answer on any topic, history or life, etc., what would it be, I guess? Like, I guess I'm assuming he means if there's an answer you want, a question you want answered, what would it be on any topic?
Okay. I think, I don't know. I have a couple. Man, it's so hard to pinpoint which one I want to reveal because, well, okay. I'm gonna skip the one I was thinking about, and because it's a little bit too philosophical. I'm gonna go with this one, which is: are we alone in the universe?
We are not.
Are aliens real?
I'm telling you right now, I'm an alien, and we are not alone.
Oh, that explains your white long legs and your red
you
hair.
Want proof. You want proof, is what you're saying.
Not just proof, but I want that being, whatever the shape, form it is, to speak and to say, where they're from, how they were created, where, you know, what's their purpose? Why are they here? Why are they visiting us? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want all those answers, you know? Like, not just are we alone in the universe, but I want proof, and I want that entity, that being, whatever, to speak to me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I want to know the exact same thing you want to know, but one of the things that you've heard me say that I like, there's a lot of things that governments keep from us, and that's a fact. That's, you know,
Yes.
Don't be ignorant to the fact and say everything that's on the media. Like
Right.
the whole NSA thing in our phones, people would make fun of the whole, like, cover your phone, the government's listening, right? And then the NSA was like, oh yeah, we listen to everyone's conversations, you know, and now everyone accepts it, because if you say, like, I want to buy a carpet, it'll come up on your Instagram feed, like carpets.
Right.
So for me, I agree with your question, but I've always wanted to know, if we're looking at a historical end, and this is the nerd in me, I'm certain that Adolf Hitler, depending on how you say it, he was not killed. He did not commit suicide. And he did go to Argentina and survived and died over there.
Huh.
And I would want to know proof. So basically you know, there's a lot of FBI, CIA, MI6 from England, and, you know, like the Soviet Union from Russia.
The FSB.
They were looking for him after the war ended, and they were all looking in Argentina. Now, why would governments do that if they didn't suspect he was alive?
Yeah, that is weird. That is really, really interesting.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I'm curious about. I have delved into a lot of documentaries, and there is a huge German community. Now, again, this isn't about people who are of German descent from Argentina. No, I just want to know that is indeed what happened. He faked his death because they did DNA test on the body that supposedly the Soviets took, and it's not his body.
Huh.
And so, but you don't... Remember we talked about this on our UFO episode, that the governments don't release or declassify things until like decades later, when it seems like no one gives a shit. And so that's one of the things I would want to know, but on a historical thing.
Yeah, but then also I'm thinking, can you really trust the Soviets? You know, it's like they've been playing a spy game with us since World War II, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We're just, you know, the Cold War and misinformation and all. Even today, you know, the president over there is doing some shady shit to us, and you know, election meddling and all that kind of, you know. And it's like, do we really trust them? You know, probably not, you know. So that could have just been misinformation leaked just to spread American conspiracy theories, and, you know what I'm saying, make the government send a team out and to making them work and make them disprove it, you know. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So is it true? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe Hitler is dead, you know. I mean, who knows?
Well, he's obviously dead by now, but my thing is, he didn't die when they said he did. And he died in Argentina, an old man.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Guys, look into it. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, no, because a lot of people from Germany that were part of the Nazi movement moved to Argentina, and you will have a lot of German last names in Argentina. That is a fact.
Yes.
And if you look into it, there was a big community out there after the war, because they all had to flee. So I do believe. But again, that's one of the questions I would want answered.
Interesting.
Now I have a really dumb question, but no question is dumb, honestly. I just think it's funny. When people say go and break a leg, do you really mean go and break a leg?
I don't know, you know, the actual context of where that came from. There probably is a story where somebody did say that and it actually did happen, you know. I don't know. I think it's common for stage actors to hear that, or people say that, you know. Mm-hmm. But then it just kind of evolved into everything, right? It's like you have a friend who goes into an interview, hey, break a leg, you know, and it's like, the fuck does that mean, you know? I mean, Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's one of those silly things people just say, and whether or not it makes sense, I don't know. It's a good, very good question.
Yeah. I mean, when I say go out and break a leg, I literally want you to go out and break a leg.
See, it's you're mean. You're just
I'm just
mean.
kidding.
When
I'm kidding.
When I say it, I mean like, fuck, good luck,
Yeah, no. I actually never say that. Go break a leg. It's not a phrase in my dictionary, but that's
I
funny.
have said it
I
to my
thought it
actor
was a
friends.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah, my actor friends do get it, but because they're actors and whatever.
Yeah. Go break a leg.
Yeah.
Like was it Nancy Kerrigan who had her leg broken?
Yeah,
she was
her
an ice
knees,
skater.
yeah.
Yeah.
By Tanya Harding.
Yeah. They literally said go break a leg, and
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Damn. Did they ever? It was those two guys that were hired, I guess, or
Ugh, seriously.
whatever.
Another question. Would young, ambitious you be content with where you currently are in the game of life?
No.
No.
No, definitely not. The same goals were achieved in life, but they were postponed for a good number of years because of, some things I had to deal with in the process, but I think younger me would have been like, fuck it, find a solution, like just move on, don't do it, fix this now, it's just like all those words that it's like, when people just tell you that, friends try to be friends to you and try to give you advice, and their best advice they can tell you is just, hey, get over it, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck does that mean? You're like why aren't you being more compassionate, more understanding kind of thing, so I think younger me would not be compassionate or understanding with how older me turned out. But mind you, we reached the same goal, okay? But younger me would have been like, no, you fucked up because you should have done this instead and got it done sooner,
Yeah.
But then older me is like, boy, I'm opening up a can of whoop ass on you because fuck you. How dare you speak to me that way? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because until you walk the mile in my shoes, you don't know, So yeah, it's a tough one. But I would say that no, younger me would not be happy with me right now. But
yeah.
all that matters is that older me is happy. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think young me would be happy where I am now, because I don't think young me, I wasn't in the same thought process that I'm in right now. Of course, I've matured a lot, you know what I mean? But I think if young me, the younger me, would be like, holy shit, who the fuck is that bitch?
But I'm curious though. What was the younger version of you thinking about for the long-term goals in life? Like what?
I didn't have any long-term goals, and I think that's the problem. No. So I lived a lot in the moment, but I don't see things the way I did. So a lot of the things that I've done since, I was young, I think maybe I felt like it wasn't so much that I don't think I could have done them. I would only think in my little bubble, my little world. I never thought outside the box. And so I reached an age when I started to meet more people that I just started to think outside the box and kind of be more open to doing things. But young me, like early 20s, even 18, like I was very inside the box. I was very, how do you say it? My parents really sheltered me.
Okay.
And I think in that sense, I feel like young me would be like, oh, I never thought you would be where you are, or you would have done everything you've done, and you would be financially where you are. Like,
right.
In the sense, because I was very sheltered, and so I was scared of a lot of things. And so in that sense, I do feel young me would be happy where I've turned. Maybe, I would have done certain things differently, but I'm definitely a lot better off than I was when I was younger.
Well, that's great.
Like younger me, if I was young right now, I would look up to a woman like me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great story right there, because it's like you never knew your life would get you to this point, to this moment, and it did, and it gave you struggles, achievements, and happiness. And that's something you didn't foresee back then.
No.
In any aspect, right?
Yeah.
Which is
what, I mean, I
career?
was confident in my way and I, even in my career, but I didn't think I could be, I wanted to follow this trajectory that people, the American dream people put on me, if that makes sense,
right.
that everyone has to live.
Right.
And I feel like I'm more successful not following that path, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it totally does.
So, yeah. Anyway, but yeah. You ready for the next one?
Yes.
Is there anyone from your childhood you'd like to reconnect with, to thank or confront for making a significant impact in your life, good or bad?
Wow, that's a good question.
I know, they got deep, right?
From childhood. Wow. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to look back to my grade school days. You know, when you have that after lunchtime hour, that recess hour, like, you know, where you're supposed to go play in the yard and shit for, 45 minutes or whatever, before you go back to class.
Mm-hmm.
We had a one of those, like, people that would, watch over the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a gentleman, probably in his late 20s, maybe. His name was Mr. Park. He was the kind of guy that,
Mr. Park.
Yeah, this is one of those people that, made us all feel good. Like, just, like, we're all different, and some of these kids were always picked on and stuff, but he always, like, pulled us together. And it's just like, hey, it's like, let's play a game of chess here. I'll teach you a cool game, or I'll teach you this, or what about this? And so he kind of equalized everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So the cool kids, the bullies, the tall ones, the little fucking snotty ones, whatever. Like, he made all of them feel good together as a group. And he always said, hey, remember, be friends, no. And he was kind of like the regulator, the guy who just kept things, cool. And I think, I observed all that because I was never a bully. Mind you, I was 6 feet tall in 5th grade. Okay. So I was a big guy, even, back then, and I was never a bully because my parents didn't, let me grow up that way. They always said, hey, you can have respect. You're always going to treat people right. I don't care. Guy, girl, whatever. You're going to be respectful to everybody, especially your teachers and anybody who's of authority, So I think I'm thankful for that because I was a fly on the wall listening to Mr. Park telling the kids, the group of us, like, hey, be good, do, don't get in trouble. I don't want to see you out here, getting in trouble or this, So I think he kept us from going, into the bad side of, being bad kids on the streets,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful for that. I don't know where he is in life today. I don't know, I imagine he'd be in his 60s or 70s by now, but, yeah, I love that. Totally, find that guy and be like, dude, remember we used to talk about movies back then, and he used to share some funny jokes and teach us how to play chess, and and he had a lasting, effect on us where, he always said, hey, be cool, be nice. And I remember that,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of felt, that was one extra person in my life, not just my parents, but one extra person that said, hey, you know what? It's cool to not be, a bully or be an asshole or, whatever. It's cool to have respect. It's cool to, to be patient, and it's just something, that stuck with me all my life till now,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's deep.
How about yourself?
For me, everyone who I feel needs to be in my life is in my life. Good or bad, or I don't know. But I guess based on the question, I always wonder about one person, and he was like my first little boyfriend. His name was Dwayne.
Nice.
We were neighbors. We lived in an apartment building. He lived in one apartment building. I lived in the other. And our apartment buildings used to face each other. And they had like this corridor that was like shared in a way.
Right.
It was a fence. So we'd climb the fence. But we were like neighborhood kids that would play together.
Right.
And we had like crushes on each other. His name was
nice.
Dwayne.
How old were you at the time?
Oh, I must have been like 5.
Oh, damn.
I was so young. And I always think of him. I'm like, I recently, literally like a few weeks ago, I had asked my cousin John, like, hey, do you remember Dwayne? Like, I always wonder what happened to Dwayne. And when I say he was like my first love, like, again, I was 5 years old. I mean, when I say first love, it's nothing like that whatsoever. But it was like, I feel he was my first boyfriend, even though we never said it. Oh my God, I'm one of those crazy girls. Oh my God.
Puppy love, yo, puppy love.
Puppy love. He didn't know I was his girlfriend, but he was my boyfriend. Like,
that's funny.
But I always wonder about him. We were like neighbors that played in the evenings. And he touched my life in that sense because like I said, I always wonder about him.
That's cool. It's awesome to have those kind of memories from, being that young, because, it's like a few people can even remember being that young, but you have a vivid, beautiful memory of this neighbor kid who you had a crush on and was nice to you and would play with you,
Yeah.
And it's like
tag, you're it.
Yeah, and it's funny. I'll bet you that I could take you somewhere. Like, for example, it could be a flower shop, it could be an ice cream store, where if you had a certain smell that reminded you of those moments, it would take you back there in a second. You'd be like, I remember we used to play and the flowers used to smell like this,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always fascinated with memories.
Yeah. Memories are amazing. I think for me, sometimes I might have had smells remind me of certain people, but for me, it's music. I don't know if you have the same where certain music brings you back to a certain time.
Oh, definitely.
To a certain lover, to a certain friend, to a certain depressed moment in your life,
Oh,
know?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Music definitely does that for me.
Yeah. And the cool thing I'm discovering is that because I've been in music for so long, and working in that field that I got so sick of it, right? And then now, now I'll turn off music, right? Like I'm not listening to music currently, for example, because I'm so busy with podcasts and listening to other podcasts and research and all that, whatever, that when I do turn on the music, it feels refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, wow. And then the memories do come back. I remember like, oh, that was 5th grade. Oh, I was in junior high. Oh, that was senior year of high school, like those, and it paints a picture again of, memories come back in flowing, paints a picture, and it makes that song relevant and it makes that song feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you have a song that no matter how many times you listen to it, it never gets old? That wasn't a question anyone asked. I'm asking that.
I do, probably because, let's see. A song that never gets old. That's a tough one. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to pinpoint like which one, I'm saying is significant.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be something from the 80s, for sure. And I think, okay, here's a funny thing. The first girl I was crazy about, and it's funny, we're friends today, kind of, we think back, and it's kind of funny how when two people don't have the same memory,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, you're young, you're 13 years old, and you have a major crush on this girl, and you're seeing things a certain way, right? And then this girl, she's not seeing things a certain way, right? So because she doesn't have those same memories.
Oh, trust me, I've been there too with a guy.
But long story short, this girl lived in my neighborhood, not far away, but her older sister was best friends with one of my cousins who I grew up with, right? Who was close to me. So that's why one day I was just like, whoa, who's this girl? And then she's like 1 year older than me, right? So we hit it off quickly at 13, and we went to different rival middle schools and all that, So we rarely saw each other. But I remember like the second or third time I saw her, she gave me 2 cassettes, like of full-length albums, right? And she's like, listen to this. She's like, I'm really digging this. And then I was like, not even into that music at the time, I was kind of like, what? And I can tell you the year was 86, 87, okay, around that time. So I was like, what is this, And then I started listening to it, and I seriously wore them out because I had a big crush on this girl that, like, whatever she said, I did, you know what I'm saying? And in this case, she just wanted me to listen to that music, and I did, and I got into that music, and I was just like, man. So two cassettes. One of them was Dokken, believe it or not, heavy metal. Dokken, and the other one was, I think it was Joshua Tree, U2. Two very different, bands, right?
Now, can we hit that real quick? They made an album called The Joshua Tree, and then if you look at the album cover, they knew Joshua Tree was happening before the hipsters and influencers discovered it.
Right.
Now continue.
Right, that's true. But I fell in love with that record, with that album, the Joshua Tree one, right? And then funny story is that they did a music video for that song, where the streets have no name, and it was downtown on the top of the $1 Million hotel. They were doing a rooftop concert, and it was like on every radio, right? It was like, go down, it's a free concert, go check it out, right? So what did we do? Jumped on a bunch of buses, went right to downtown LA, right? And it's like, back then, if a group of 1,000 people gathered, it was considered a riot. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't even care. It was a riot. It was just like, oh, a riot, whatever. And I remember we were just running from corner to corner because police were just shutting everything down. And I'm a young kid, but I'm this tall young kid. And, I'm with my cousin, and she's watching over us. And I'm with this girl who's a big crush, have a big crush on. So we finally watched it. The police shut it down because there's too many people, whatever. We all went home, and we were both like, wow, like I got to experience something she introduced me to. And now I love that song. Now I love that band. Now I love that music,
Yeah.
So to me, that was like the birth of like rock and roll right there for me, But I'll tell you a funny story. You can go on YouTube and watch that video, and it's instead of being a 3-minute song, it's like a 15-minute video because they're showing you the crowds, they're showing you the police shutting it down, they're showing the riot police. So I'm like, fuck, I'm watching that today, and I'm like, I was there,
Yeah.
I was 13, but I was there.
I had a situation like that with Rage Against the Machine. Exactly. So the Democratic National Convention was held at the Staples Center.
I was there.
I did school because I was like a tomboy, and for some reason rock music really resonated with me.
Yeah.
And I was a huge fan. We talked about Alice in Chains in the past, like Nirvana. I'm huge on Metallica. I mean, I grew up with rock music being because of my dad and it's like 70s classical rock, but everything you were saying, it was like my same experience with, we ditched school, went to downtown LA, and Rage was there, of course, right? And they were doing like a concert, and then the cops came, shut it down. And I mean, it was like a mini riot, but I was when you were saying that, I was like, oh, this sounds like the time I ditched high school to go see Rage Against the Machine. And now a lot of people, based on of everything that is happening in the US now, are rediscovering or discovering Rage Against the Machine for the first time.
Right.
But that's the shit I grew up on.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned that. I was there because I was working for that little radio station at the time, and we were there, and I was there because we were there supporting the band, of course. We kind of helped put them on the map, and that whole situation got crazy real quick, and it was kind of like, fuck, what do we do? Would we run? Do we pack things up? Where do we go? But those were the fun radio days. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have another question.
Oh, before you go on, I gotta tell you, there's a little piece of trivia about that Rage Against the Machine DNC LA performance.
Mm-hmm.
There's a gentleman that was trying to get into the DNC that year and was refused. They said, Fuck you. Get the fuck out. You're just a young fucking senator. Get the fuck out. You know who that was?
Bernie Sanders.
No. No, he's old as fuck.
No, he was old already.
Yeah.
So what year? It was like 2000, 2001, 2000,
Something like that, yeah.
Young senator.
Yeah.
It wasn't Obama, was it?
Yes, it was.
Ah.
They did not let him in the DNC. Can you believe that?
No, I had no idea.
Like, he seriously.
But I'm not surprised. DNC. So I'm an independent voter because I don't trust the Democrats and I don't trust the Republicans.
Nice.
I vote, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, really.
Yeah, seriously. There's a story somewhere. He told the story, and I was fucking laughing because I was there. And he tells the story that he was so humiliated that he had to take a taxi back to his hotel.
Ugh.
And that man became president.
Yep.
How crazy is that?
That's the Democratic Party for you.
But yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that little piece of history there.
And I equally hate the Republican Party. No, I don't hate them. I just feel like, anyways, we're going to move on.
Right.
So my best friend, Christina.
Hi, Christina.
Who, if you know me, you have to know her to understand me.
Okay.
She's amazing. But what is the definition of true love? What is your interpretation?
Wow. I think true love is when you find somebody, and now I'm not speaking about a pet or a person or a mom or dad. I'm talking about like a soulmate person, right? Like a partner, right? Like that's what I'm focusing on. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, it's whatever your interpretation is. I'm just reading you the question.
Because I kind of feel it's different for different things, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, what I'm about to say is not going to apply to my dad or my mom. You know what I'm saying? It'll be weird.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to, like, the opposite sex, like, finding that person for you in your life, I think it has to do with, you know, with finding somebody who understands you on every level and, you know, communicates with you, you know, equally. You both can communicate openly and freely, and really, like, you're really in touch with one another, unlike you are with anybody else, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's a special connection. It's not just because it's like, wow, she's beautiful, or he's cute, or he's whatever. It's like, no, there's more to that. It's like, it's way beyond looks. It's like, you know what? This girl brought me donuts and coffee. You know, she went out of her way and took 2 buses and dropped this off because she knew that it would make my day. You know, like the little things that mean a whole lot more, you know?
Yeah. Like,
it's not just the materialistic thing where it's just like, well, she does things for me. No. It means a whole lot more because she understands you, you know, and then she's willing to just listen, and she's willing to offer advice, or she's willing to help you, and she's willing to drop everything for you and say, what can I do? You know, like,
damn it.
What happened?
No, I've been that person you're describing.
But no,
it didn't go well for me.
But no, that's the thing though. It's like, you know, we're all suckers in love, right? We're all like, oh fuck, I'm gonna do that for the girl. Like, fuck my friends. You know, this is more important. Oh, I'm gonna buy her this. I'm gonna do this for. And then what does she do? She cheats on you or whatever, right? Then you feel stupid, right? And you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, or I've done that. Exactly what you said. I've done that for a guy, and yeah. I don't think he appreciated it, to be honest. But it was part of everything. I was giving him, like, you know, I would send him like little. I think he had gotten injured. He tore his ACL, I think. Mm-hmm. And I would send him little care packages, and I don't think he appreciated it. When you were saying that, I was, everything you were just saying right now, I thought of that, and I was like, well, I was doing those things and they didn't seem to care much.
Yeah, but that's why it goes both ways. It's a two-way street, right? It's like you give it and you got to receive it. And by that, I mean, like, you do something nice for somebody, when it's love, that person appreciates it.
Yeah.
And that person doesn't want anything from you. Like, like, hey babe, like let's not make Christmas expensive. Like let's not go crazy. It's like, how about you just spend time with me? How about we just do nothing together? How about we go for a walk or a hike together, or just sit down and talk, till 4 a.m. and watch the sunrise. Like that to me is love.
Yeah.
And a lot of it goes to communication, because I feel like a lot of people in relationships don't communicate. And by that, I mean, like, yeah, they're married, they're together, they're living together, boyfriend, fiance, whatever, right? Like there's still something weird about distancing them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can prove it to you because, I have friends who text me at 2, 3 in the morning, and we're just goofing off and making fun of dad jokes or stupid things or whatever. And I'm thinking, why are you up? Like, why are you alone? Like, where is he? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going, And I feel like there's something missing there. It's like they got too comfortable in the relationship, and they let all the good stuff that brought them together, they let it just dissipate and disappear. It's just like, you can't let that happen. It's like you gotta always have that. You gotta always have that. And so yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things, but but definitely it's like finding that person who wants you for you. When I always say, I want somebody perfect. But
you're fucked.
No.
Yeah.
I want somebody no. No. I want somebody perfect for me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want a perfect person or perfect woman. No, that shit don't exist. I want a perfect person to me. Like, I don't care, where she comes from or how tall she is, or what I'm saying. It's somebody who cares for me, who wants to be with me, who enjoys and laughs at my stupid jokes, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the person who's perfect for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. For me, I think true love can mean, to me, the love between most of us. The love between a parent and us is like true love. Yes, I do believe in true love. But when it comes to meeting someone and falling in love with someone, I do believe that there are people who find it. They find it and it's true love and it lasts forever, right?
Right.
I think there's different levels of connections you can have with different people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah.
So you could have someone who you had the perfect relationship and it didn't last, right? But then you might have someone who you might have a relationship with, you guys get each other, but it's not your typical love thing. But throughout the years, you always get each other.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but for me, I go back to the whole parent love. I don't have kids, but I've heard my friends who have kids, say that that's like true love right there.
Right.
I may not experience it, but I see the way they, I met them before they were moms. They were moms and dads. They were all hot messes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to see them love someone in that sense, to me, that's true love. But I've also met people who have bad relationships with their parents. You know what I mean? So I think it just varies, just different levels. And sometimes true love is the friendships you have, right? Like, you don't fall in love with each other, but you love each other dearly because you guys get each other.
Right.
And so it's very complex for me in that sense.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. It's hard to put into words, it's more easier. It's easier to point out to people and be like her, be like him, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's and I second that notion you just mentioned, because I'm blessed where I am surrounded by some pretty amazing friends, and I know hundreds of people, but the ones I call my friends, maybe on one hand, maybe two hands, maybe, and these are people that when I struggled in life, like when I couldn't even get off the floor because it was just depression, and it was just life just sucked. These are people that did not know how to help me, but they did know that I needed a distraction, and they did know that if they were going to call me and say, hey, I'm going to pick you up in 15 minutes, I had to get my shit together because they were coming over, and I was trying to hide it at the time. I was trying to hide, this depression, right? From you want to hide it. I was trying to hide it from my parents and my loved ones and all that. But they were the ones they knew that if they came over and picked me up and went to Starbucks to go sit at Starbucks and have a frappuccino and just talk for 2 hours, they knew that I needed that.
Yeah.
They're not counselors. They're not experts in,
They're your family.
Yeah, they're not special, doctors or grief specialists or whatever, or mental health specialists. They just knew that if they could get me out there, that we could just goof off for a good 2 hours and not even, it was therapy. The way I see it was therapy, And I tell them today, like the few, that helped me, I tell them, I go, hey, you know what? That was the best therapy ever, because I didn't turn to drugs. I didn't turn to alcohol. I didn't kill myself. But I probably would have if you guys were not around. Like something bad could have and would have happened because the darkness was there,
Yeah.
But yet
experienced true love.
Yeah, and that was true. That's true love right there. That's true love for my friends, And it's like, to this day, I'm like, fuck, I'm so grateful, because they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
All they knew is that I can get them away for, an hour. And it was helpful, It really helped me. And it kept me alive. And one day, like, I snapped out of it and was able to function again like a normal human being, and was like, okay, you know what? Life, sucks, but I'm gonna get up now, and I'm gonna, go out there and try it again,
Yeah.
So that's love. That's true love.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. Family is true love.
Yeah.
They realize they see how fucked up you are, and they still love you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. I think I have 2 more questions.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Of course.
Well, Edward asked 3, but I'm gonna pick one. Do you think humans will ever survive long enough to call other planets home?
Yes.
In our lifetime, maybe, you think, Leonie?
I think in our lifetime, we're very close to colonizing Mars, and maybe not colonizing, but definitely landing on Mars, and saying that, hey, we spent, 2 weeks on Mars, and then we had to, fly back for 9 months, whatever. I think we're pretty close to that. And by that, I mean in the next 10 years, or so.
Yeah.
Thanks to people like Elon Musk, of course, who are pioneers and visionaries who are like, hey, we're getting this shit done now, because NASA takes forever, And I understand why NASA takes forever, because I used to work there, and my friends always, make fun of it. It's like, how come when NASA sends a thing up, whatever, like you get the stupidest little picture, whatever. And it's like, they don't understand that when NASA sends something up into space, they double, triple, quadruple, quintuple check everything, right? And they're not going to send the latest iPhone because it's not been tested. They're going to send the iPhone 7, for example, because the iPhone 7 has been tested for the past 3 years. It can withstand 10,000 degrees. It can withstand, 30 G's of force shock pressure, or whatever, So I understand those things. Like I said, I used to work there. So that's when I learned a lot of this stuff. And I realized that, baby steps, okay. But now we have a visionary guy who's just fucking ballsy as fuck. And he's just kind of like, nope, I want to do it the latest and greatest and in style. And that's what Elon Musk is doing. And man, I applaud that guy. I'm like, dude, this is amazing, So I think he's going to be one of the pioneers, probably him and maybe Jeff Bezos or the, what's his name? Richard Branson from Virgin. I think they're going to, there's going to be something big. And then, yeah, sure enough, we'll be on Mars soon for sure. Probably not too exciting because we've seen the pictures on Mars. We know it's there,
Yeah.
But I think that's the first step. But then once we get there, now what? And then we don't even know if they're capable of coming back. It could be a one-way suicide mission,
Yeah, I don't know that it'll be in our lifetime.
You don't think so?
But no, I don't. But I'm not an engineer like the guys over there, or you. So don't listen to me is what I'm saying. But I don't think so.
You know, interestingly enough, I don't think it's so much of an engineering problem than it is a philosophical one, because you're asking a group of people to basically take on a mission to possibly not come back. You know, most likely, almost 100%, you probably won't make it back here. You know,
Yeah.
so in this day and age, when everybody's offended by some tweet or some whatever, there's always people pissed off for something. It's like, how can somebody make an announcement and say, we're looking for volunteers to die? Like, how is that even ethical? Like, so it's going to be interesting who gets to go and why, and whether or not it's successful. I mean, if they were able to go and because it takes 7 to 9 months to land on Mars to get there, and then they spend a week or two there, and then they got to come back for another 7 to 9 months. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if they're able to pull it off, I mean, that's going to be like one of the greatest achievements of mankind ever. But that's crazy. That's ballsy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows?
Yeah. So we'll see. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
And so, do you think we have time for one more?
Of course.
Now, this one might be deep.
All right.
This is by Mary.
Mary.
Not me.
Oh.
This is Mary 2.0.
Is Mary 2.0 pissed that you called her Mary 2.0?
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. I'm the best. That's all I can say. Maria, Mary. Yeah.
You're funny.
Her question is, what do you think about the Wayfair and Pizzagate conspiracies?
I honestly don't know a whole lot about them, but I know they're tied into a lot of interesting things, right? I don't know. That's a good question.
So obviously, for those who haven't heard about this, the Pizzagate is linked to politicians and rich people, and I can never say this word, pedophilia.
Yes.
And so a lot of times it was rumors, there's always rumors, conspiracies. And if you really think about it, everything we're seeing with Epstein is practically Pizzagate. Pizzagate comes off as a very, what do you call it? Like conspiracy theorist. So for a lot of years, right, there was these theories and people were like, oh, they're crazy about child trafficking and so on. And it's been going on. This conversation's been going on for a while. And then you have the whole Epstein thing, right? You have rich people. You have the prince from England, right?
Yeah.
People in Saudi Arabia, and so he was essentially liked younger girls, but he also was pimping these girls.
Yeah.
And so I do believe it's true. I do believe there are signages that people respond to. But the Wayfair thing literally just came up this week. And so did you hear about that, or should I fill you in?
Yeah, fill me in, because I know very little about it.
Okay, so the Wayfair thing literally just came up this week, and it totally sucks because I love Wayfair. But if you go on Wayfair and you look at like bookshelves or like storage units, they're like literally like a bookshelf with like 2 doors, and something that you could buy at IKEA, exact same shit for like $100. Right. They're selling them for $13,000 plus, just to give you an example. And it'll say the name of this thing is, I'm just for the sake of this conversation, is Joanna. Buy this Joanna thing for $13,000, and then but the names are kind of unique, and if I guess people link them to missing girls or missing children, underage people's names. And so there's also a Wayfair link where it was selling a customized. Now those were the bookshelves, right?
Okay.
And then they had, how every furniture piece has like a VIN number, like kind of like cars.
Right.
So if you Googled those numbers for that Wayfair thing that was $13,000 overpriced, and you Googled that like serial number, pictures of children, underage children would come up.
Oh, shit.
So the other thing they saw on Wayfair was that people were like, oh, this pillow, you can customize it. But it's not all the stuff. It's just certain things, right? So the pillow was like $44. And if you customize it and put a name on there, the price would go up to $15,000. And so the theory is that they're not drug trafficking, sorry, child trafficking. And there's a lot of theories out there. And so it is definitely a deep subject, but that's where the Wayfair thing comes in, because that literally just started popping this week, where people are suggesting that. And there's also pictures of the Wayfair owner with Epstein and the chick his right hand, his girlfriend, they just
Maxwell, the French girl.
Yeah, there's pictures of them too. So everyone's trying to figure that out, like, are we being conspiracy theorists, or is this some real shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, wouldn't it be crazy that you're buying the Joanna furniture and you're really paying $14,000 for a girl?
Well, that's like, what people are saying, is that you and I, if we saw that shelf, and we wouldn't pay $14,000 for it, because we know we can get it for $600 or $400 or go to IKEA.
Right.
But these people know that that's exactly what they're getting.
So that's how, like, they're funneling, they're laundering their money, basically.
Exactly.
That's crazy. I mean,
so that just came out this week, and so that's where the question comes from.
But it makes sense.
I do, like, when you read Pizzagate, if you go online, there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff on there.
Right.
But for me, Pizzagate is that, we're seeing it now, in my opinion, with the whole Epstein situation. You know what I mean? All the people who would go to a secret island, like, that's a fact now, but for a lot of time it was a conspiracy theory. But the Pizzagate, if you search Pizzagate, basically it gets even crazier. But I do believe that, I don't believe so much in the word Pizzagate, but I do believe that the powerful take advantage of underage kids. That, you know what I mean? And maybe that's me not trying to find out more of the evilness.
I read some article. It's pretty evil. It's fucking dark is evil. I'm hearing these stories of people who are involved that are, like, trying to distance themselves, like trying to say, like, yeah, I was there, like, I stole all this artwork for them and stuff and sold them artwork, but I never, like, messed around with the girls or anything, but they were definitely there, and it's just kind of like, damn.
So before all this, it was a conspiracy theory, right? And now it's a fact that people with wealth were being dealt these young underage girls. You know what I mean? And somehow Epstein committed suicide.
Yeah, he was murdered.
And but again, everyone before thought it was a conspiracy. And it's very interesting. I mean, that could be we should do an episode on that.
Oh. Yeah, for sure. Right.
I'm sure we could talk about it for a while. But yeah, that was her question.
God, but I just think about this Maxwell chick who just got arrested, She holds the keys to all the secrets. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she has insurance. She has pictures of everybody, right? Epstein's dead. Who the fuck cares about him, right? She's going to out him no matter what, right? But the thing is, she has the power to tell the feds to say, hey, I know everything. I'll give you everything. Let me go.
Do the feds really want to know if they're in on it?
See, that's a whole other problem. Well, there's got to be some law enforcement that is not in on it, that wants her prosecuted. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's a side that's going to set her free or give her a slap on the wrist because she's going to tell all. And then the crazy thing is, I want to know who's on that list,
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's what we're going to find out. Are we ever going to find out or not? I mean, obviously there's public pictures of them with Trump, public pictures of them with Bill Clinton,
right?
Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Who, and apparently, like, everyone, they were dealing to superpowers in the world, in Saudi Arabia, you name it. Dubai, they were dealing. So I think I would be shocked. I would not be shocked if she was killed or died, quote unquote. I tweeted literally 4 days ago I was watching Court TV, where Vinny from Court TV was like, will she be safe? And the chick that he was talking to, the correspondent Julie, said yes. And I was like, will she? What if she suddenly gets COVID and dies of complications?
Right.
Like, in quotation marks.
Right.
Because I would not be surprised that they're going to say that.
Yeah, and it's very stupid to put her in the same prison that Epstein was in.
Yeah, they
Like,
happen to fall asleep, right?
yeah, those two that fell asleep, and the missing video, the surveillance video, and then all of a sudden he wakes up, with a noose around his neck, and
They said it was it was like his blanket or part of his uniform, but when you look at the marks, because all the pictures are like public record, it looks like it was actually like an electrical cord. Like it doesn't match.
Right.
Like, so I find that very interesting, but
There's
I believe in that stuff, that it's real. I know the Epstein end of it, but I haven't looked into it deeper, but I'm sure it's a lot deeper than we know.
Oh, it's just, I mean, it's just, you have to be in the right state of mind to read into this, because it's pretty sick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
who are these grown ass men who are millionaires, billionaires, who could have the sexiest fucking woman out there, right? But no,
Yeah.
they gotta have a
Yeah.
12-year-old, 13-year-old.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
it's very upsetting, and that might be a reason why I don't look into it too much. But my friend Mary, actually, definitely, we talk about it here and there. The Wayfair situation, to give you an update, right? People were noticing these items are super fucking cheap, right?
Right.
But they're selling them for 13, 14,000. It didn't make any sense. So when this started to go viral on TikTok, on Twitter, on Reddit, somehow when people started going into those, clicking into those furniture things and pillows and stuff,
Right.
when it started to go viral, all of a sudden those links disappeared.
Interesting.
So for a lot of people, it's like, why would they pull that?
Right.
Was it because it was fake, or because they realized people were caught onto it?
Yeah.
And so Wayfair did I think, say that they're conspiracies. It's not true.
Right.
But then they were someone, everyone's a fucking detective now.
Right.
If you guys haven't seen the documentary on Netflix about, what was it called? Like something fuck cats or something like that.
Oh, right.
Where the police department I think it was Canada, they couldn't find anything about who was killing these cats online and putting it online. And then there was a murder that happened. This group of people like you and I on Facebook that love this shit started looking into it, and they solved that shit for the cops. And it's a documentary on Netflix. But what I was getting at is that after all this came out, whoever these people out in the internet basically were like, oh, look, there's pictures of the owner of Wayfair with the people we're seeing on the news right now for, child. It's crazy. I don't put anything past anything at this point.
I know, right? I did watch a video a couple nights ago about this guy who was investigating this murder in jail, right? He was involved with some kind of mob. He was like a mafia hitman, right? And he's interviewing him in jail, and he became friends, right? Like he would come over to see him every twice a week or whatever for 9 months, because he's writing a book about him, right? And then as a joke on his last visit with him, he tells him, he goes, if you were to kill me right now, how would you do it? And he said, not even a split second went by. The guy jumped up, grabbed the cord to the lamp, put it around his neck, and strangled him. And he was just like, he turned white because he was so scared, And then he let go, and he goes, that's how I would do it. And then he, mind you, I think the guy's name was Tony, and he's the real guy from, I don't know if it's the movie The Godfather. I think it's like he's the real guy who inspired one of these big movies, mafia movies. He was so scared, and he said, that's when I realized that when they showed the Epstein, when they carried, there's pictures of his body with the marks around his neck. He says the murder weapon's right there in the picture, and it's not the sheet, it's the cord. So that's when he said the murder weapon is the cord, and that's when nobody's looking into it. They're all saying he strangled himself. No. Somebody came into his cell, just like homeboy mobster guy said, in a split second, grabbed the cord, put it around his neck. And then what did they do? They made the nooses look like it was the sheets. So clearly he was murdered, you know?
Yeah. It's crazy. Actually, when you were saying that, it reminded me of the O.J. Simpson book, If I Had Killed or Murdered. Yeah, that's what I thought. Fucking psycho motherfucker.
Yeah.
But, this was a very exciting episode. We had some random questions. We ended on a deep one. Kind of creepy.
Yeah, 'twas fun. 'Twas fun.
Yes. Thank you for joining on this random episode.
Yeah, enjoyed the questions. They were a lot of fun. You have some interesting people in your life and people that submit these questions to you that really made us think. I'm just like, oh shit.
Yes, you know? I know. I only pick the best. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, they are grateful. They are grateful.
I'm getting a little cocky here, aren't I?
I think you always were.
Yes, I haven't.
That's funny.
But I'm looking forward to the next episode, Leonie.
Yeah, me too.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again and again.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. And I hope you've enjoyed this. And I look forward to talking your ear off on the next episode.
Yes.
Bye. That was episode 21 of the Purposely Curious podcast. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on most podcast platforms. And follow us on social media at Purposely Curious on Instagram and at Purposely C Pod on Twitter. That's Purposely, the letter C, Pod. Until next time, you know what to do.